Hey family, we are live, broadcasting live. This is the Conversation Room 101. Make sure it's only adults in the house. I need your mind to be open, prepared, and relaxed. Welcome to our home. Take your shoes off. We got some rules we need to go over. Be kind. No cursing in the chat. If you want to curse, call in. And no shouting out other channels. That's a no-no. We got one other rule. There is no judging our guests. It will not be permitted. Zero tolerance. And if so, you want to do that, guess what? We got security. And we will escort you out. Because over here, hashtag we don't care. We're going to be one big family. We're going to laugh together sometimes. We're going to cry. But we definitely going to pray. I thank the Lord above for everything. I lift him up and give him the glory. But you guys, right now, we're going to get our popcorn. And then we're going to see what's going on. And let me just park my car. And I'll be in there in a minute. I'll see you real soon.
The Copyright Disclaimer Act. The Copyright Disclaimer Act under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news, reporting, teaching, scholarships, and research. Fair use is used permitted by copyright statutes that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
Like, share, subscribe.
Do you want to know? Well, I've been thinking about you, and I think I'll have to listen, because the sun is up, it's a beautiful day. My beginning will be as bright as the sun. Come, won't you come along? And it feels so right, it's like luck is raining on me. Go and follow your heart, doesn't matter how far. There is so much love to give, something's telling me this time. Baby, baby, now
See this?
I
Now
know.
you cannot go
Baby,
again.
baby, gotta go. There is so much love to give, something's telling me it's right.
Neighbors and the
When you
community
came to me,
compelled
who
to
are
scour
you?
the area.
It's you, yeah, boy.
Where does the fault lie on you?
Hey family, how's everybody doing? Thank you guys for showing up, coming on in. I see Lisa Taylor, I see Monique, Lisa in the building, then Lisa Taylor, and then I see Sister Karen in here. Come on in, you guys. I know you guys been maybe following this case. If you haven't, you better get on in there and follow the case. It has not unfolded yet, so this case is about Nolan Wells. It's a young teenager boy. I think he's around about 18, but he lives in the Mississippi area. And let me give you the backstory really quick. I'm not going to make a big thing out of it, because if you don't know, you just need the details to understand that what happened in this situation. I want to follow this case because I've been watching it. Monique said, happy to see you. Yes, Friday was my birthday. So, I kind of disappeared a little bit. But, I got everything together. And actually, I have worked 16 hours. So, I haven't got sleepy yet. I overslept a little bit, but only 30 minutes. But other than that, I worked 16 hours pretty much straight. So, I'm kind of wired right now. So anyway, you guys, let's talk about what's happened. Thank you for the belated birthday. Thank you. Yes, it was my birthday. The case is confusing. Well, let's go off into some of the details, Miss Lisa, because the details of what's been happening, we're not going to discomfort the family. I just want you guys to know, when we go through these cases and we haven't found a case that we really wanted to share what was going on, not that it was just interesting, but it's just mind-boggling, and then we can learn from it, okay? But we have to keep respect for the family, okay? So this is a young lad that lived in the Mississippi area. Well, he went to go spend the night over his friend's house. Now, the details about this is he is African. Well, I think he's mixed a little bit. Let's just be honest, you guys, because all details matter when it comes to situations like this. But he is, I guess, preference known for his race would be African American. Okay, he might be a little mixed in there. I think his mom is a little mixed, but overall, I mean, it's an African American family. Okay, she's beautiful. And very beautiful. When I say beautiful, she's very beautiful. Okay. And anyway, she has this child. Well, she has some other children, but let's just stay focused on this one. This one is the oldest, and he went to school with these other kids, and he went to school in pretty much a dominated kind of Caucasian area, So pretty much his friends was gonna be Caucasian, and I don't know if you guys lived in a dominated kind of a white area where your child might be, a very low percentage of blacks or African American in that area, or the lifestyle, they have. And I'm just gonna be honest, you guys. You can get mad at me if you want to be like, ISP, you, it ain't like that everywhere. Well, I'm just saying, you want the best for your child. And I can tell people this, and there's some that's in here. If you know what I'm saying. If you don't know, then you don't know. If you've ever lived in a dominated white area, your kids might end up with someone, if they partner up with, married, they're dating, they're friends, they not look like you. They're not gonna look like you. But there's nothing wrong with that. Diversity is a good thing. Why did he have to be identified with dental records? Well, I don't know. Let's get into that. I didn't even know that. Lisa, you jumping the gun. Girl, you got some information that you shoot. Okay. Hold on. So I just kind of just want to set the scene that he was African American, and the friends that these were not his only friends, but the friends he went out on the boat with was Caucasian. Okay, let's just make sure everybody who don't know that. Okay, now we know. So he's got 3 guy friends. They're all white, and he done spent the night over one of the friends' house, and then they go on July the 3rd. He spent the night over to his friend's house, and they were going to this island called Horn Island, Horn. And this was supposed to be on July the 4th. So she said, I heard that they beat him after a pool party and they took him back to the island. Wow, Lisa, I don't know. I don't know what done happened, but we're going to get off into what the police, and I think what's making everybody mad is that the officials already said there was no foul play. Now, what's done happened, because we done jumped the gun a little bit, so let me go back to those of you that do not know the story. Well, he went to uh, enjoy the holiday with his friends to this little island where there's, you just can't get there by walking or a car or anything like that. So you got to take a boat over there. And that's where they don't have police there. They don't have parents there. They don't, I mean, there might be some adults around, but it's majority of the children. It's kind of like a hideaway place that you can go and you ain't got all these adults telling you what you can do and what you can't do. But somehow they got to this area, and when I first heard the story, I thought they had went to this remote area and they were pretty much the only people there. And then I found out there was two YouTubers there. So I was like, two YouTubers? Well, if a YouTuber is there, and I say YouTuber, but because that's what they used to call them. Now they call them content creators. Everybody's a content creator. But anyway, nevertheless, they're always on their phones. They're always, got the camera going, talking, telling everybody about the birds and the bees and the sand and the trees and all of that other stuff. So there's got to be a lot of information out there. You would think it wouldn't be, but it is. We just haven't seen it yet, you guys. I'm telling you, because when I'm somewhere, well, as long as I'm not at work, when I'm at work, I'm at work. I'm doing my job. I don't really go live while I'm at work. That's a no. I've never went live at work, and I think one time I went live out in the parking lot real quick or something, and I just said, "Hey, you guys, I was just something," but I've never went live at work. No, we don't do that. But anyway, this was a holiday. It's the 4th of July. So let's get off into some of the details. So anyway, the friends somehow there's allegations about there was an altercation. And what ended up, we don't know. We don't know if there was an altercation or not. But what we do know is the 3 Caucasian guys ended back at home. And guess who did not show up back at home? She said, "Oh, I'm going to talk to you later if I don't go to sleep." But anyway, Nolan didn't come home, you guys. You know what? I'm just gonna say it. Like, he didn't come home. Now, if you guys ever been in a situation where your child doesn't come home, you know how sometimes I say, we got to be blessed sometimes. Like we wake up and we be like, "Oh man, the car on the flat. Oh man, I lost my job. Oh man, my boyfriend ran away with the spoon." And we get so complacent with what's going on in our life. We don't even say, "Thank you, Lord." Because guess what? My child came home. Guess what? I woke up this morning. Guess what? I'm breathing. I know my name. We don't never say thank you for the things that, we take for granted. But just imagine, you guys. I'm just telling you, it's just sad. But imagine your child does not come home. If you've ever been in a situation where your child did not come home, put a 1 in the chat. I mean, no matter where he was he lost? Did somebody come and pick him up and didn't tell you? Did he stay too long at a friend's house? Or whatever. Let me clean my glasses while I talk to you. So, I had to put myself in this situation. Because you guys, I told you that when I was going to school to be a nurse, my son didn't come home. And he was like 12. On my day of my final, okay? And, you couldn't miss the final because that was like 50% of your grade. So you would fail. and you would have to give her like 24-hour notice and this, that, and the other. Well, what happened was my son didn't come home, and I still had to take the test or fail. Now, some people be like, I be just failed that test, girl. Well, that's not going to bring my son home. And when I did call the police, they told me I had to wait 24 hours. So sitting there, I'm looking for my child. God, I don't know where to look. I thought I knew where he was at. I knew his friends in the neighborhood, but he had friends that lived on the other side of the bridge that I did not know about. Anyway, this is not about me and my child. This is about a situation that happened that remind me of what happened to my child. And I told you guys, he got in the car. My son got in the car with his friends, told him that his mother said he can go somewhere with them out of town, knowing it was a school night, and he went. And anyway, I failed that class because I went in there and I just I just couldn't even think. I really couldn't think, and it was a lot. But nevertheless, I went to the police station, and guess what? They found my son. Even though he turned off his phone, I think, what did he do? Oh, he would not answer my phone calls. But they tracked his phone somehow. He had the phone, or he made phone calls from the phone. But I don't think his phone was off. I think he didn't answer the phone, or let me think. Anyway, I can't remember. I know they found him by his phone pinging. He didn't answer the phone or anything, but the phone pinged or whatever. Let me think. Yeah, the phone pinged. And so they knew where he was at. He was in a whole nother town, not another state, but he was like 3 hours away from home with the whole family. And yes, the family was Caucasian, you guys. Hey, Tina, how you doing? The family was all Caucasian. And so anyway, I think I told y'all what happened. And they was like, we got eyes on them. You think that the police, the FBI, the highway patrol, and all of that can't find your child, don't know where they're at, or they go off the grid. And, if you give them enough information, I didn't see him get in no car. I don't know if he wasn't abducted or anything. I don't know if he was abducted. It was like, okay, they got a ping on his phone, and it's in a whole different town, 2-3 hours away. So anyway, they pinged his phone, took the police where they were at, seeing them, got the phone number to who owned the house where they were at, tracked the car and all of that, find out. They said, Miss SP, we know where your child is at. And they were like, we're making contact. I'm in the police station, don't know what's done happened. I don't know. I'm just, I couldn't even cry because I don't know where my child is at. And, he could have got himself in a world of trouble. I don't know. I mean, he wasn't the brightest star, but I mean, he just, trust everybody and whatever. Anyway, nevertheless, they called the people that was at that house. Now, I don't know because I wasn't on that end, But they answered the phone. So whoever had phones at that house, they called their phone and they answered the phone. And they was all around their house. I don't know if they were sitting right out in front or whatever, but they called them and they was like, hey, do you have this child named such and such? And they all, I don't know what they looking like, but they like, this is the police. This child you have with you, you guys did not get permission from the mother. And to and they was like, no, he told us that his mother said he can go, he can come with us. And they was like, no, his mother have not, and we're gonna come in there if you don't let. And they was like, please sir, let me talk to the mother, he told us this, he told us that. I said, no, get my son. And they was good. And so I kind of felt bad because I know my son. And I know my son told them that he can go with them. That I told him that he can go. And I didn't want to get nobody in trouble when it was him, So the man got on the phone. He was like, let me talk to his mom. And tell her. And they were up to no good, trying to transfer stuff back into the town. Got my child with them. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, but I didn't know all of that. So anyway, he got on the phone and he was like, ma'am, he told me this. He was like, please, don't, I will bring him right to you. I will bring him. I will leave right now. We can make it back in 2 hours. And everything. And something told me my son had lied to them, and now he's dragging everybody down, But they had no business taking my child out of town without asking me. Like, you don't let a child say, oh yeah, my mama said I could stay. No, you say, well, let me speak to your mother. Anyway, nevertheless, you guys, I'm just telling you how scary it was. And then, yeah, my son did arrive at home and nobody got in trouble. But the idea of how people think. Now, she did say that he can go over to his friend's house and spend the night or whatever. And I don't know if the mother knew that they were going to this Horn Island or whatever. But they, let's get off into the details. So they say, I don't know if it's true, that the next day, like I said, his friends ended back home. The only one didn't show up at home was Nolan. They didn't call the mom and say, hey, Nolan didn't come back with us. Nolan wanted to stay or whatever. I'm pretty sure she probably called to try to see, hey, where you guys are at. Why he's not answering his phone. Now there's something that's going on with the phone. Like the dad went over there to get the phone. They said they didn't have the phone. And then an hour later, come to find out, they got the phone. They didn't say they had the keys to his car because he left his car over there. And then hours later, they got the keys. Now they're saying that the phone been, some things been deleted, some chats, some videos or whatever been deleted. So, and then one of the boys' mother or parent is a judge. So they're prominent people. They're just not just white. They're prominent white people. And so, I'm just saying, when we do look at this situation and turn the situation around to if this was 3 black boys and then the white boy came up missing, somebody would be in jail. somebody would be down there at the police station holding all the boys, you know, holding the boys or take them to juvie or whatever. And I don't know what all they done did. I don't know. But it just seems like they're taking this lightly. And for them to already say there's no foul play. How can you say there's no foul play? The only way you could say there's no foul play would be you got all the information. There's no scars on him. There's no, you don't know if he didn't eat something. I mean, a full autopsy with all the everything, you know? Well, you know, they didn't find him until July the 6th. So he's got 48 hours that he allegedly is supposed to have been in this water. Okay? Now, I don't know if it's all true. If you know any information, you can stick it in the chat. You know any information, hey, information man, you can stick it into the chat. But I'm gonna tell you guys something. At first, I was watching this try to unfold, and I wasn't really alarmed because I get that, you know, when you live in an area like that, your kids are gonna be friends with everybody. They don't look at it like I'm the only black and I should be fearful when I grew up with these kids. I live in that type of area, you guys. Some of you guys do. Some of you guys don't. I wasn't raised in that type of area. So I got the best of both worlds. I was raised in a dominated black area. Then my aunt raised me, which she had money. So then I was raised in a rich area, and then I moved to middle class, you know, where, you know, everybody go to work, but everybody go to work. And everybody don't look like me. Just I look like me. Which now we've got another family over here that looks like me. But I mean, guess what? They don't even talk to me. I don't know, you know, but that's fine. You know, that's fine. It's different, you know. We sometimes feel like we're comfortable when we're around someone that looks like us. We look at each other. That's the first thing we do. I go to this job and we look at each other and you know, we nod our head, what's up? You know, we be cordial about it. We don't go in, oh, talking about this person or that, you know. We you know, if we can help, we help. If we can't, we can't. But we don't sit there and argue and fight. We don't. We might not like you. I may not like you because this, that, and the other, or you don't like me because this, that, and the other. But um it is a different world when you, it's not that you're just a minority, you're the minority of the minority. You know what I'm saying? You're not only just black, but you're the only black, or you're the very few black, or you're the only two black, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And don't be dark skinned. Now you've got a double strike against you. You know what I mean? You got a double strike because then you've got colorists that are black people that don't like darker black people, you know, like my color, you know. I mean, you know, it doesn't matter to me. What I'm saying to you guys is, um, I know it's a fact that we got to weigh it in, but don't let that be the only reason why you feel like they've done something. Like I said at the beginning, I was thinking, you know, just because he was the only black boy, and you know, that doesn't mean that they done something, because you know, some of my son's best friends are white, and The lady that helped me with growing into a young woman, she didn't look like me. She was white. So I know just because, I think that's why I do believe that's why the Lord tells us to love. Because had not some people that does not look like me show me love, I mean, they showed me love when my own kind could not show me love or did not show me love. And I'm talking about family, neighbors, the whole environment. See, see, you guys, I'm just going to say this. And this is why when somebody say you prejudiced, just because I want to call somebody white because they're white and I want to call somebody black because they're black. No, I'm not racist at all. No, no, ma'am. No, sir. I will not hold that title. Period, point blank. You know why? Because if I see somebody white, they're just white. Okay. And I'm black. Okay. And I'm not going to make a big deal out of it. I can't change it. You can't change it either. Right. Okay. We can still be friends. We can still be cordial. You can like peanut butter. I can too. You know what I'm saying? What I'm saying is just because your color does not mean anything to you. If you passed out in front of me and I had to give you CPR, I'm giving you CPR. I don't care what color you are. I don't care. Now, if you done threw up or you dirty, you looking dirty and no teeth and rotten teeth, I may not give you CPR because I don't want to catch or get what you got. But other than that, when the adrenaline's kicking your child, do you not know? Like I said, and maybe it's because I'm a nurse, I just don't care what color you are. I just don't care. You need me to change your diaper. I'm changing your diaper. Whether I'm doing geriatrics or I'm doing pediatrics. Right now, I'm doing both. I know. I'm asking to kill myself. I know, but I'm doing both. Yeah, I'm doing geriatrics and pediatrics right now. So, just to let you guys know on a side note, I just don't care. I don't care what color you are, and I think that here's the thing. These are details that we do have to take in consideration. These are kids at the age of curiosity. When you're in between the age of 10 and 20, you're curious. I don't care if you black, white, you male, female, you're curious. You start to get curious about what this smells like and what this tastes like and who touched what. And that's when you're going to get, introduced to things that you wasn't even considering, maybe smoke a little pot, maybe drink a little drink, maybe kiss somebody or let somebody kiss you, or you know what I'm saying? You're going to get things that your mother didn't teach you, things that your environment didn't teach you. You get used to those things. And I think he was in his growing spurt. Yeah, I've got a grandson the same age. So, and he lives in the same type of environment, and he goes out and the only friends he have, I'm telling you, they're all white. And so I'm not looking at this no kind of way like you think I don't understand, because he goes on right now he's being mentored for pastorship. So they're going to be doing some ministries out in different countries and stuff, and he might be going with them. I think he's going. He just came back from Hawaii, and he'll be going to, I guess he said something like Egypt or somewhere. I mean, I'll get the details when he gets ready to go. But, did you just hear what I said? I don't think I think he's the only black. So I really pay attention to these type of articles and situations, when they happen, when they come up, I want to know. I want to know. Anyway, because like I said, my grandson, he's 18. And let me tell you, he done got in some trouble already with his friends. And they done took off and ran and left him. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, I'm just not trying to tell you, my situation. I know you guys knew that I bought my grandson a Nissan Maximum. I think that's what you call it, a Nissan Maximum, right? I actually bought it when he was 14. I didn't even realize he was 14. I thought he was 16, turning 17. And then my daughter said, Mom, he's not. He's only 14. I was like, oh my God. But it was a good deal on the car. So I got it and I said, well, we can do some little fixings on it and get it all prepared. And it won't take, it give us some time. It was a good deal on the car. And I knew that my husband can put it completely together and it would look nice. And we can just take our time. And we did. And it took us about maybe 3 months to put it together, but we just took our time. And he turned 15 and then he turned 16. He started driving. I said, well, we need to get the car ready so that he can learn to drive his own car instead of anybody else's vehicles or car. He'll learn his own. And everybody know that you're going to tear up your first car, right? So we didn't throw thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars in it. It's probably, some thousands, but I mean, it wasn't over 5, 6. Anyway, nevertheless, I think, anyway, it doesn't matter how much it was. It was very beautiful though. But when he turned 17, he got his driver's license. He was able to drive. And then, his curfew was at 11 o'clock because right here in our town, our state, kids are not, there's a curfew here. Anybody under the age of 18 have to be in the house by 11 o'clock. That's for the whole state, you guys. I don't know if you guys got it in your state, but, unless you're with an adult, a child can't be outside. No, can't. Yeah, that's the law. Well, he called his mom and asked could he go to the park or something. It was like 11:01. And she was like, no, Mom, can we just stay for 10 minutes? You 20 minutes, we just going to have a water fight and blah, blah, blah. And all. She said, yeah, 11:01, guess what? He was in a car wreck. And his friends jumped out the car and ran. Okay? So, yeah, tore the car up. Anyway, I mean, yeah. Anyway, so what I'm saying to you, all his friends was white. They jumped out the car and ran and left him there. And they was like, so when the police get there, the police is like, why did your friends get out and run? And he was like, I don't know. Now if he would have got out and ran, he could have got killed. That's something we teach our black kids to do not do. But they do it. I don't know what for. I'm a gangster. I don't think they're bad kids. But what I'm saying to you guys is the kids, when they're raised in an environment that they don't think like we think, they don't have to. Oh, Mom, my grandson, we're not going to get him another car. So he had to work for his other car. But that was my gift to him. But see, he had the nicest car than all his friends. Man, how did you get that nice car? My grandma. The other ones, they had buckets. They tore the buckets up too. Anyway, so there's good things that you're going to learn living in that type of environment, and then there's bad things that's going to happen come living in that kind of environment. And you're going to have to understand something. You got to weigh the good with the bad. You know, you know, your child does get a better education being in that type of environment. I'm just telling you the truth. You don't want to believe it, believe it. Yeah, the same thing does happen in the black neighborhood that's in the white neighborhood. Actually, there's more action in the white neighborhood than in the black neighborhood. It's just in the black neighborhood, you know, they will hurt you, you know. And in the white neighborhood, you know, you can probably negotiate some stuff. And I'm just saying, and you know why? Because that's what I told my mother. My mother, when I was having my house built over here, my mother was like, I don't want you, baby. I don't want you to go stay over there. The KKK's over there. And she wasn't lying. And I said, Mom, I can't stay over here on this side of town. She said, why, daughter? You know, you need to be around your own kind. And I said, Mom, I got kids. I don't want to hear the police all night and all day. I don't want the drug man to be next door. I don't want the gas to be high and the bread to be high. And it is. But over there, they got the real books so my child can read. And then he'll know how to get a job. And sometimes I think, you know, we do teach our kids to learn to adapt in this world. It's all depends on how you want to, how your child to adapt in this world. What do you think is best for them? Now, I just knew that if I stayed in the north side of town, that if I lost my job or something, you know, it'd be easy for me to get some weed or drink a drink, go play some spades and some dominoes, you know, collect my unemployment. But if I was in the white neighborhood, and I'm just saying this is my thought, it don't have to be true to every individual or situation. It just don't. That if I lived on a block where everybody kept their yard clean, I'm gonna keep my yard clean. If I lost my job and I go outside and every car was gone and I know they're going to work, and I'm sitting at home, I'm gonna feel some kind of way. I'm feel like I need to go find me a job. I need to get my yard cut. But I tell you, and I'm just saying, you guys don't have to agree, but this is my life. But you know, when I go to the store and I get bread and eggs and get gas, it's actually cheaper than when I go on the north side. It is. It's just actually cheaper. And then, see, and I'm going to say this, and I'm going to tell you the truth. Okay? I went to Chicago to meet Jesse Jackson. This was back in 90. My daughter was born in 90. My son was in 93. So it's probably about 95, 96. I went to Chicago to meet up with Jesse Jackson, Reverend Jesse Jackson. And he had a little crush on me too. Okay. But okay, nevertheless, that's just sidebar. Anyway, Jesse said to me, I went there to learn, get information about how to be successful with my job, as far as dealing with my job. I had a really good job, and he taught us about stock. You buy stock in the company, and I did. and I made money. That man is smart. I don't care what you guys say. Y'all can say anything you want about Jesse Jackson. That man is smart. He's real smart. He was good looking then. I don't know about now, but he was good looking. I mean, I was too scared. I was married at the time. I don't cheat. I ain't gonna say I didn't think about it, but I don't. I ain't never cheated. And so anyway, and that's just too much work. But anyway, Jesse was teaching us about stocks, how to invest your money, whether you work in a regular job or not, how to buy homes. So that's how I got connected into how to buy houses. That's why, at one time I owned 7 houses at one time. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, I still got, a couple of things going for me. Matter of fact, somebody just reached out to me the other day and offered me twice the amount that I paid for just property. It ain't even a house on this property. But I told you I got some real estate, but I ain't letting it go. They was like, we'll pay you double. No, you won't. Anyway, I'm gonna tell you guys this because this is what Jesse said, and this is a quote. And you know what? You can tell him I said this, and I went to his. It was called the Rainbow Coalition Church. I mean, and I'm gonna tell y'all this, and I thought, oh, I'm gonna go, and I didn't know that it was a church. This church is like so old. I mean, because Chicago is kind of ran down, y'all. Y'all know what I'm saying? I'm not talking about Chicago in a bad way. I'm just saying that I've never seen a church so ran down before. But it was called the Rainbow Coalition there, right? She said, oh, he said he passed away. I didn't even know that he passed away. Jesse Jackson passed away. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. But he said that the reason why we as a people do not come up is because when they're making deals, it's because of the connection. And we're never there for the connection. They'd be like, okay, your child goes to this school and my child goes to that school. So then you go to the PTA meetings, and then, your father goes to the golf course that my father goes to the golf course. So, because we live in the same area, oh, what's tea time? Tea time where? At 9 o'clock or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, your son is in the play and my son is in the play, and then, I met people over here and they was like, let's be friends. My son goes to the same school your son go to. They're best friends, so let's be friends. And I mean, so when they're making plans, like, you can find jobs that way. You get connections. It's called connections, you guys. It's not that it's guaranteed. But if your child is going to the same school my child is going to, and your mother is the judge, and I want a job there, guess what? She can give me a referral. Okay, your dad, he works where my dad works. That's how it all works. You guys don't get it. You think just because you get a good grade in school, that's it. No, it's all about the connections. You get a connection, they get a connection. And not only that, and you guys have seen this also. Your conversation, your language, when you speak, when you talk. Do you know that my daughter, when people call my daughter, they offer her a job. What's your name? She says Shannon. Da, 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 da. When she shows up for the job, they're like, oh my. They didn't know she was black. You know why? Because she doesn't sound black. She doesn't say did that and the other and did why. Yep. You bet. Like. I'm just saying, you guys, it's a part of an environment that when you're away, that's how you speak, that's how you talk. And it just, that's the way it is. And my mother would always tell me, they're gonna kill you, they're gonna kill you. And I said, Mom, look, you know what? I was raised in the ghetto. I think they come into my house. Now, if they come in and I'm not there, they can have it. I'm going to have insurance on it. But if they come in while I'm there, they're in more trouble than I am, because guess what? I'm not as scared as they are. They're more scared of me than I am of them. Why? You know why? I got something to lose. They can always get it again. I can't. They're not going to mess with me because I'm not scared. Now, if I was in a black neighborhood and a black person crossed through the window, I'm scared because I see them and they see me. They might even know me. I might know them. And guess what? They may be even more hungry than me. They want it that bad. You see what I'm saying? That was my logic. And I've got a lot of family members that has passed away from getting shot, doing robberies. Well, I told y'all I just had a cousin. He got killed trying to get away from the police in a car crash. Then I had a nephew got shot in the back. I've had two family members in this that has the same mother died of AIDS. Natural death on another one. Let me see. I'm just saying these is how, you know what I'm saying? So anyway, back to what we was talking about on Nolan Wells. So when I look at the dynamic of the family being in that type of environment and their kid is running around with these white Caucasian kids, I don't look at it like some people look at it, because unless you've been in that type of environment, it's nothing to have all white friends. It's nothing. They know it. They know you're white, and you know that, they know you black or whatever, but it's not no bad thing. It's like, it's just what it is. There is a difference as far as, like, you may get a little favoritism because of it, and you may get a little backlash, the little black boy or whatever, or, the little side jokes about the watermelon and the chicken and all that. But I think that, they were friends, and they didn't look at it like just because he black. If there was an altercation, it was an altercation between two boys. That's all I'm saying. And I'm saying the ideal because he was black, Now the way they go about covering it up, the truth is gonna come out. The truth gonna come out. Somebody knows something, seen something, and was scared. There was supposed to be something about a girl that he wanted to stay behind and chit chat with. But they say that the argument was about his keys. Like, he was like, give me my mother effing keys. Now, I did hear something about mother effing or some effing keys or something like that, or give me something. I did hear, but that doesn't mean it have to be them. It just doesn't. And so when you have all those possibilities that it could be or it could not be, it's easy to try to make it into, like, what bothers me the most is that the kids did not come home and call the mama and say, hey mom, Nolan didn't come back with us, he wanted to stay. I don't know how he gonna get home. I got his keys in his car. Nolan was tripping. Why you didn't tell somebody that you left this boy on a whole different island? I don't care. That's a problem to me. That's a problem to me. That's a problem. Period, point blank. I don't get it. I don't understand it. And then y'all didn't go back. Okay. You didn't check to see if he made it home the next day. Now, for them to be friends for so long, did you even call mom the next day or call over there and say, hey, where's Nolan? I'm going by Nolan's house. Because let me tell you something, okay? I can see it because when my son came up missing, I went over all his friends' house, and do you know what? Not one of them showed up at my house. They did answer the phone. They did, I talked to their parents. Hey, have my son been over there? They'd be like, no, ma'am. And they did give out information. Oh, that's how I knew that he was supposed to be over this boy's house, which nobody knew where this boy lived. You have no real friends. That's the real reality here. That's the real reality. Well, you really don't. We grow up thinking that we're going to have lifetime friends. Because we watch these shows on TV where somebody's been friends for 30, 40 years and and yeah, it's all good. But I'm going to go off into some of these details, you guys, because I got, like I said, I just worked 16 hours. And I'm on my hype right now. Like, yeah. So let's see. Nolan Wells. So let's see here what they say. And it says official investigation of the death of the 18-year-old have asked for the public's help as conflicting. So now they're asking for the public's help for, oh Lord, they didn't want me to read that. Okay, 18-year-old college football player was found dead on the Mississippi Horn Island after going missing during a 4th of July trip, and authorities are seeking public help as conflicting accounts and viral rumors, including the disputed video, circulate. Nolan Wells was reported missing after failing to return from a July the 4th trip to Horn Island. A park ranger discovered a body on July the 6th near the island, and dental records confirmed it was Wells. Well, I heard that the mother had not seen the body. I don't know why they would not let her, or maybe she don't want to see it. But the father's there. There's a man in the house, and you should let him see your son. But anyway, nevertheless, a park ranger discovered I'm glad they're getting a independent autopsy and an independent something else they were getting. But anyway, we'll find it. The Jackson County Sheriff Office says investigators have found no signs of foul play so far. Family attorney Ben Crump announced an independent investigating citing glaring contradictions in witness statements. Wells' friends Tracy Shepard told Rolling Stones and ABC that Wells does not appear in a viral video. See, that's what I'm saying. Uh they were pointing this arrow, talking about, like somebody point an arrow at a video and be like, yeah, that's him right there. They were arguing. I mean, see, that's how things get. You can't. Is somebody black? That's all we know in the video. I'm just saying, you guys. We don't see no face. We don't know who in that video. It could be my child. It could be. It can. Anyway, I don't. When I looked at it, I couldn't tell who it was. I couldn't tell who it was, and but I do wear glasses, but I had my glasses on. I couldn't tell who. All I seen was a blob of a brown person standing there, like a shadow, like just a ambience, something of a shadow or whatever. Jackson County Sheriff Office says investigators have found no signs of foul play so far. Family attorney Ben Crump, now that's somebody I probably need to meet too, announced an independent investigation citing glaring contradictions in witness statement. I'm going to meet him. Matter of fact, I'm going to meet him. When I go to Atlanta, I'm going to see if I can meet him. But Wells' friends say that the Rolling Stones, that Wells does not appear in the viral video on a July the 4th argument. What prompted Nolan Wells' family to arrange an independent autopsy? Who provided conflicting accounts of Nolan Wells' last moments on Horn? Why did Nolan Wells' parents distrust the Mississippi law enforcement investigation? They just asked him for transparency. See, that's the thing. When people's like, you just can't just tell me you can't, what this guy say, pee in my eye and tell me it's raining just because it's wet. You just want me to believe what you're saying. We know it don't matter if it's Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, New York, Chicago, Kansas City. It doesn't matter. When it comes to something of this nature, we're just, especially our child, it doesn't matter. What prompted Nolan Wells' family to arrange an independent autopsy? Okay, let's see. Well, his family is arranging an independent autopsy by a forensics pathologist in Washington, D.C. due to their distrust of Mississippi law enforcement officials. They are seeking greater transparency, and an honest investigation following what they describe as glaring contradictions in the information released so far. The family's suspicion is fueled by conflicting accounts from the last people to see Wells alive, regarding whether he stayed on the island to be with a young woman or planned to ride back with others. Additional, Wells' mother, Christina, expressed unease over the suggestion of an accidental drowning, noting that her son was an elite athlete and a strong swimmer. Okay, the family is also investigating why Wells' cell phone was not found with his body and has raised concerns about potential deleted Snapchat. Well, Snapchat is exactly what it is, you guys. Okay, activity on the device. Snapchat deletes itself, but it does that's just the way it is. But then if you're playing water polo, you're not gonna have your phone. And people have learned that, you get to playing around with water and you've got this $200, $300, $400 phone, you go put it up. That's what you do. You don't take. My son bought some water skis, some scooter doodles or whatever. I call them scooter doodles, and he said, "Mama, they're not scooter doodles. There's something. They're better than the Yamaha. I can't remember what they are, but they get." And guess what? He called me one time. He lost his keys. He lost his phone, and they had to call the AAA to come and. Oh my God, he lost everything, and now he's learned. You when you go scooter doodling, like things that we didn't do when we was young. We didn't go scooter doodle. We might went to the community park and swam, but we didn't go scooter doodle in no lakes. Can't drink. That's too much water. But so no, his last moments on Horn Island was provided by the young woman he was allegedly with in the group of friends. Conflicting accounts of Nolan Wells' last moment on Horn Island was provided by the young woman he was allegedly with in the group of friends he arrived with. According to attorney Ben Crump, the young woman claimed Wells returned to the boat with the group, whereas the group maintained that Wells had expressed a desire to stay behind with the woman. Oh, that's it. That's it right there. That's why. Did you guys not hear? Let me read it again. That's why the family is saying, hey, the woman, the young lady says he returned to the boat with the group. She's seen him. Now, the boat that the young lady was on was right next to their boat. Okay? Okay, come on, y'all. Come on. According to attorney Ben Crump, the young woman claimed Nolan Wells returned to the boat with the group, whereas the group maintained that Wells had expressed a desire to stay behind. How can they say, oh, he wanted to stay with her? And she's saying, he went back to the boat with y'all. But why was her family calling her and telling her to get her butt back in across that lake? So, okay. Dispute involves specific details regarding Wells' intention and his final actions on the island before his body was discovered on July the 6th. While investigators from the Jackson County Sheriff's Office have stated they found no signs of foul play, the family has expressed distrust in local law enforcement and is conducting an independent investigation. Additionally, there has been conflicting information regarding a video alleging showing an argument involving Wells with a friend named Tracy Shepard, disputing that Wells was actually in the footage. So this is new information. You guys might want to listen to this. So the Wells family is heading an independent investigation into Nolan Wells' death due to their distrust. Okay. Ben Crump, who's representing the family, contradicting in the information providing this as a primary reason. That the family is fueled by conflicting accounts regarding Wells' final moments on Horn Island, especially whether he chose to stay behind to be with the young woman or if he intended to return to the group on the boat. Additional concerns has been raised regarding suspicious Snapchat activity on the phone appearing to be erased more quickly than normal to seek further clarity. Now, I don't know how that Snapchat goes, but okay. To seek further clarity, the family has arranged for a second independent autopsy to be conducted by a forensics pathologist in Washington, D.C. So this thing keep asking me, do I want more information? And I'm like, yeah. The investigation in Nolan Wells' death is currently focused on several key points of evidence that has fueled the family suspicious. Drowning theory. Investigators are reviewing video footage that appears to show an argument between Wells and another individual shortly before he went missing, though it remains unclear if the altercation is connected to his death. Additionally, there is significant scrutiny regarding Wells' cell phone. His family noted that recent Snapchat activity appeared to have been erased more quickly than the app's normal expiration window. The conflicting accounts from the last people to see Wells alive have also been a center point of interest for his attorney. While some reports suggest Wells chose to stay on the island, speak with a woman, others provide different details about his intention, creating what Crump describes as glaring contradictions. To address these concerns, the family has arranged for an independent autopsy in Washington, D.C. to be conducted by a forensics pathologist seeking findings that may differ from the official state medical examiner results. You guys, so Nolan Wells' friends say teen was not in the viral video. Family calls for transparency. Missing teen case draws national reaction. Latest on the county body found. So, I'm going to tell you guys something, okay? It says, as for follow-up, what was the specific roles of the United Cajun Navy in the search? How did the official autopsy result compare? They were supposed to get the results of the autopsy Friday, and they hadn't came in. I'm pretty sure they're in now. I believe Nolan was killed at a different location. Okay, J World. You know, okay. Several celebrities and public figures have expressed support or offered condolences following the death. Actor Jennifer Lewis shared a spoken word poem online to call for an end to violence, young people, and urge the protection of children, while social media personality Tiffy also reacted to the case. Other prominent figures have provided direct assistance to the Wells family during their investigation. Actor and filmmaker Tyler Perry is covering the cost of the funeral. So Tyler Perry is the only one I know, and former NFL quarterback Colin Kaepernick helped pay for an independent autopsy. Additionally, Andy Cohen shared a message of sympathetic on trends. Reese Trees and singer Taye Diggs expressed hope and justice for the young man on the Facebook. You guys, you know what? Let me tell you something. Um, I'm gonna share something with you that you may not understand, but when I read all of this stuff, see, some of these people I don't even know, so I can't even pronounce their names. They don't never change the idea of what you're getting here. First of all, you have Ben Crump. He's one of the most spoken African American for African American. I'm gonna say this, you guys. I'm not. I I'm gonna say Ben Crump don't go nowhere unless there's Pretty much something just ain't white about the milk. I'm just telling you. He ain't finna just come in there because somebody just drowned. You know what I'm saying? He ain't gonna waste his time. You guys understand what I'm now? He don't win every case, but he does show up for the cases that's supposed to be uh spoken on. You know? Like, let me tell you something. You you hear sirens and everybody get out the way, right? Because you know what's getting ready to come down the street. And you don't want to be in the way, right? So it's either the police, it's normally the ambulance, right? When you hear the ambulance coming down that street, more than likely they're going somewhere that somebody needs help. If you follow an ambulance, which is against the law, I truly believe it is. But if you did, you'll find yourself 99.9% of the time in an area where somebody's needing help. I'm not gonna say it don't happen every now and then that they get somewhere and it's a false call or it's a false call. I'm not saying that there isn't false calls, but 99.9% of the time somebody's needing help, right? Okay, because that's a big deal to call the ambulance or the police and then they get there. That's because that's like being Crumb. He's not gonna waste his time going somewhere speaking for somebody unless the evidence is not showing. Now he's not gonna say like you and I because his reputation is on the line. He's not gonna say. He can't speak like we speak. We could say, Nolan's the only black kid and da 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 da. And we can say what we want because guess what? We're not held accountable for what we say. We can say what we see. So Ben Crump says we want them to be transparent. And he focused, if you watch when Ben Crump talk, he always say something about being transparent. Okay, we want transparency. You know why? Because you would give other people transparency. So why are you not giving us transparency? You must be. What always happens when somebody don't tell you the full truth or just won't tell you? We're grown-ups. That child is, there's a mother out there. And who should know better what happened or question that was asked of those people that took him down there to the island, that was friends, that got pictures, video. Tell me what happened to my child. Oh, they just want to say it don't look like no foul play. That's what they said about Emmett Till. Did y'all know that that's what they said about Emmett Till? I'm just saying. If you haven't seen the movie, go watch the movie. You know I think it was his mother said, or it could have been his wife. No, I think it was his mother. Matter of fact, his niece used to come in our chat room. We were friends with his niece. The wedding he was going to before he got killed. That's why he was walking down the street. His niece told me one reason why she wanted them to see the pictures, because if there was no foul play, why you look like this? I want everybody to see it. Watch the movie. That's why she wanted everybody to see it. Because they want to say one thing, and you know, the last thing that I seen on the news, because you know I surf the news a lot, and anytime something pops up about this kid right here, Nolan Wells, I want to see what they're saying. The last thing that I seen, the mother, Christina, said she still hadn't seen her child. She still hadn't seen her child. And this was yesterday. Now, if they found him on the 6th, and yesterday was the 12th, that's 6 days. And you still ain't seen your child? But y'all gonna say there's no foul play. If it ain't no foul play, how is it that this woman ain't seen her child? Only thing you have to do is just take the sheet and let the mama or the daddy look to see his face. If he drowned in 48 hours, it's not enough time to dissolve a body, or where you have to be identified by some teeth. What do you mean? You could have just showed the mama. You could have just showed the mama or the daddy the face, and that would have been identification. You ain't even let this mama see her child. That's when I started saying, you know what? Something is not right about this milk. Something ain't right. You got all of this stuff going on. And this is what I'm saying. You got Ben Crump. Ben Crump is not cheap. That's a mouthpiece. That's the best mouthpiece you gonna get in the United States. Okay? I remember, see, that's why I don't let people laugh at me about my speech impediment. Because when I first seen was it Ben Crump? What? Nah, it wasn't Ben Crump. Let me see who it was. It wasn't Ben Crump I was making fun. I don't make fun of him because, you know, it wasn't Ben Crump, but it was, what's the other guy's name that worked on the I want to call him Malaysia. Lord, I almost call this baby Malaysia. Malia Davis case. What was the man's name? That he gets some stuff done too. I can't remember his name. Now. Let me Google it because I want to remember it. I'm gonna Google it real quick. The investigation that was led in the Malia Davis case. Oh, I see his face. Oh, what was his name? Oh my God. Let me see. Cornell X, yeah. Cornell X. You said Cornell. It's not Cornell. Cornell X. Cornell. She said, Cornell. You're okay. You're okay for me. Um, yeah. He's really good too. The only thing with Cornell X, I think he's for the kingdom, the United Kingdom, or something like the Muslim group, more like he'll make a deal. And I think Ben Crump, for the right price, he'll make a deal. But I mean, everybody got a price. I mean, you're not just gonna get a mouthpiece and they don't get, they take them good cases like that. They don't. I don't think they take the case for the money. I think they actually take the case for the justice. The money gonna come. The money's gonna come because the, the reason why the money is there, I'm not saying it's always there just because they take the case, but a lot of how they get the public acknowledgement is because that's what you're supposed to do. Because none of this stuff is like free. We can't afford it. So yeah, we got to get on the horn and get people involved. And my $5 with your $5 and your $10 and your $20, and then the people that got $100, then there's people that got thousands of dollars, then there's people got hundreds of thousands of dollars, and they see that something needs to be done, because these are little steps that's going to make the world better for our grandkids. I'm just saying, you guys, it's going to help this family pay for the things that they need done, and they're not working right now. How could you even work? This is the worst nightmare in the world. Your child, something that you have invested in, you are not able to see again. It feel like a nightmare. I'm just saying. I can't even imagine how this mother's feeling. I can't imagine. It's just horrible. It's horrible. I want to wrap my arms around her and just, and tell her it's going to be okay, but it's not going to be okay. I mean, it is what it is. And I'm going to tell you guys something. You think that it's really easy. So, I made peace with God, especially when it came to my mother. I knew my mother was going to die. And you don't have to believe me if you don't want to believe me. But Satan himself told me he was going to take my mother. And everybody be like, the devil is a lie, and da-da-da-da-da. Y'all. All that hype talking, it just, I just sometimes want to tell people to shut up. You don't really know what you're talking about. That religious, not being saved, not being loving the Lord, just talking that crazy stuff. But if you ever had to deal with something of that nature to tell you that they're fin to take your mom or your child, and it happens. People be like, they don't even know what to say. They don't. They don't even know what to say. Because I try to tell them, unless you're in somebody's shoes, you know, chill with that. I'm just being honest. Because I can tell you that I read the Bible, and the reason why I know it is in my heart is because I had to find all the answers. Not what people say, the devil is a lie. You know, we do say that when we want to get smart. I don't say it just to be saying it. Like if somebody try to tell me to tell a lie, I be like, Satan, get behind. I'm gonna say what Jesus said. I am not. I am not. I'm not gonna do it. I don't care if you take the job. I don't care if you fire me. I don't care. But we get complacent with saying stuff that doesn't make sense. Like sometimes because we in our feelings. So when he told me that he was going to take my mom, I didn't sit there and be like, well, you know, people want to say, well, you just accepted it. You believed it. You should start praying. You think I wasn't praying? You think I'll just sit there and be like, oh, okay. You know, I prayed about it. And you know what the Lord said? Don't worry. And it was so low. It's like, I just put it in the Lord's hand. I did. I put it in the Lord's hand. And I said, well, if that's what it is, you know what? I am not even going to be mad at Lord. I'm not going to be mad at my God. Because I know, and it took me a long time before my mother passed away. It took me a long time to understand that we all going to die. Our kids are going to die. Our mother's going to die. Our dog's going to die. We don't know when. We don't know what time. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know if we're going to get old. We don't know if we're going to buy the house. We don't even know if we could. The Lord tells us we got enough worries today that tomorrow's got its own worries, right? That's the word. So you live for it right now. Because if he has something for you to do, you will be there for that. You know? So if he has something that he wants someone to get information, that you to share your testimony, to be at a certain spot at a certain time. One thing he said, he has not lost one sheep. He didn't do it. And the job was done. So there is absolutely no mistakes and no accidents. There is not. So everything that happens is going to happen. Right? We just think that, you know, people got this power over us, and all. If it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. He just probably knew when my mother was gonna pass, and it makes it seem like going to he was gonna do it. I don't know if he did or if he didn't. I don't know. I just know if it was not my mother's time, it took me a long time to understand this. It was not going to be my mother's time. You guys understand what I'm saying? That's hard to understand, but you know what? Yeah, I cried. I mourned for my mom. I didn't let nobody see me. I cried. I hurt. Monique says, I know that mother feeling really bad because my daughter died in 2016 and I'm still hurting. Yeah, yeah. But, we'll see them soon. I mean, I'm not sitting there going, oh, you know, like it's just a part of life. And it's gonna happen to all of us. So we have to be not sympathetic, but empathetic. You know what I'm saying? There's a difference. Let's see here. Let's just look it up real quick. What's the difference between sympathetic and empathetic?
Offering comfort from a distance, while empathy is about connecting with their emotions and understanding.
What's the difference between sympathetic and empathetic?
Sympathy involves feeling sorry for someone, offering comfort from a distance, while empathy is about connecting with their emotions and understanding their perspective. Empathy fosters trust, whereas sympathy can sometimes feel judgmental.
So, wow, we got to understand. So, sympathy, I'm sorry for your pain, that's from a distance. Like you acknowledge the difficulty and the comfort, but you're emotionally detached because it's something that you're observing. That's like if somebody cry, you see them crying, so you cry. That's sympathy. Empathy is like, God, you crying, I'm crying because it hurts me. The pain that you feeling, like, no pain, just a dark hole. You could have been there before, just like Monique just said. That's empathy. And trust me, there's different levels of empathy. It's got to be. Let me. I'm a word freak, you guys. So I like to know, is there different levels of empathy?
Yes, empathy has different levels. It's often described as 3 types, ranging from understanding someone's situation to feeling their emotions and acting to help.
So you got cognitive, emotional, and compassion. So the cognitive is the mental exercise of understanding how someone else is thinking and feeling. Empathy. It is the logical of seeing the point of view, without necessarily taking on the emotional burden, the cognitive. That's what we're feeling. That's what I'm feeling. Like, I'm not dealing with this, but I empathize, how you feel it. Now, the emotional empathy goes beyond logic and happens when you physically and emotionally mirrors what someone else is feeling. That's what Monique is saying. She said she lost her daughter in 2016, so she's emotionally attached with empathy. Then you got compassion. This is the highest, though. It's the most actionable level. It combines cognitive and emotional empathy with an active, selfless desires to help ease an other person's burden. It's like compassion, like in addition to these levels, some psychologists and researchers discuss symptomatic empathy, where you physically experience the sensation of another person's pain, like getting the symptom. You remember when I told you guys that my brother dated this girl and she wanted a baby so bad that, she had this pregnant body for 9-10 months. And when he finally took her to the hospital, because he was like, something is wrong, maybe the baby is dead inside of her, but it was way past time to have this baby, and she never was pregnant. And everybody was like, oh, she was just fat, she just gained weight because she was. No, 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 no. If I hadn't seen it for myself, I would say what you would say. Like, she was just gaining weight because she ate. No, she had the symptoms of being pregnant, because in her mind, she was pregnant. And you couldn't tell her she wasn't pregnant. And her body showed she was pregnant. It's just she didn't have a baby. She just had this big basketball belly. Oh my goodness. It was You know what? I don't think sometimes, I'm now seeing other people like me that have experienced these spiritual things or spiritual situations or dreams, seeing something of this. I've seen this one, I've seen so many spiritual things that I'm like, I've never seen somebody's foot grow in front of me. I ain't never seen nothing like that. My auntie be like, oh, that's how she made me go to church with her. She was like, oh, she said, Princess. That's my little nickname, you guys, if you wanted to know. Some of you guys already knew that was my nickname, Princess. She said, oh, Princess, you come to church with me, you see somebody's foot grow. I never did see nobody's foot grow. You ain't gonna get me to say I seen somebody's foot grow. We collected money and we didn't buy them one shoe, we bought them 2 shoes and whatever. I never did see their foot grow, but they said that they seen it. I had never seen it. My husband say he's seen something of that nature. I never have. But what I'm just saying is, like, you can feel what some people can feel with this woman. The mama, her name Christina, feels. You can see it. Sometimes you can't even speak. You just break down. You just break down. And she's feeling some kind of way because she let him go. And she trusted that, he was around people that loved him and cared for him, that he wasn't in no danger. And it makes us all think, wow, even around people that's supposed to be your friends, you're still in danger. Pooh Bear. Pooh Bear. Open the door and make sure your mom's not out there, babe. Um, you guys, I didn't want to speak on it when
Nope, she's not.
okay.
So, what you doing? Oh, they heard me. I try to keep it secret and let them know that I'm not here.
Yeah, Pooh Bear's here, you guys. That don't mean you get to talk today, though. I like your shirt. Where you get this shirt at?
I do not know it was from you.
Really? Is this the shirt we got you? Let me see it. It's okay. You okay? Shadow Ultimate Power. Now who is that?
Shadow.
I got you that?
I think so.
I don't remember.
I don't remember either. We both don't.
We buy so much, huh? It's almost 5:00. Hey, Lisa in here. She's saying hi, Pooh Bear.
Hi.
Come over here and say hi.
Hi.
Yeah. Any new details of Nolan Wells case? A teen football player death has sparked scrutiny and speculation.
I heard that.
Huh?
I heard that.
You heard about this kid?
Yep.
Wow, really? What happened? Tell me.
I'm kidding.
Okay.
I'm kidding.
Okay. I was finna say.
But I heard you talking about it.
Oh, okay. So let me see. They say Nolan Wells' parents say they want transparency. Here's a 5-minute clip. Let's see what they say.
At Ace, no matter how you grill, we've got the perfect
Oh
one for
my!
you. Because
I don't
only
even
your
know where
local Ace
that's
has all
at.
the best brands in one place,
Okay.
like Weber.
The only thing that we can do as parents is hope that our local authorities do a thorough investigation, but also, again, the reason why, we have asked for additional, things with our legal team. Transparency is important. Since we started this, that is all we asked for. And it's just a lot of things with this case that's going on that's not clear. I know locally it's being pushed that, oh, it's likely a drowning. Well, you have all these other things that have kind of happened in between, and it makes you wonder, could there be anything else? And again, like I've stated this time and time again, I would expect any parent or person to want to use any resources available to them to find their loved one. This was our baby boy. I birthed him. So I would not be able to sleep at night. I mean, I can't right now, definitely we can't, but I definitely would not be able to, knowing that I didn't do everything as his mother to ensure that I knew what happened to him. And that's all we're asking for, is we're asking for answers.
Elmore, speaking of parents, a mother of one of Nolan's friends who was with him that day released a statement. Let me read part of it. No one in our family is trying in any way to impede with the investigation by law enforcement or to otherwise hamper the family and law enforcement's quest for answers. Warren was interviewed by the Jackson County Sheriff's Department and cooperated fully. He saw Nolan last at around 3 p.m. on July 4th. They left around 4:30 p.m. when the boat was taking on water and they had an issue with the bilge pump. Nolan made a decision to stay on the island and return inland later with another group of friends. I know that there are parts of that narrative you say just don't add up. What do you make of the explanation that it was because of a pump malfunction that they left?
From a parent's point of view, from my point of view. If
Yes,
I was
from
in
yours.
a situation, Nolan would have got on the boat. I would have not left him there. If you come with me, you're going to leave with me. If you because if anything happens to you and I was the one that brought you there, then I would be the one to have to answer to your parents. So I'm not going to leave anyone's child anywhere if I took them somewhere. Now, if they make the decision to go back after I bring them home, then that's a decision that their child made then. But as far as me taking you there, you will come back with me. And if you put up any kind of struggle, give me a phone, let me call your parents so they can make you come. But I will not leave anyone else's child on an island. I will not leave anyone else's child stranded. So that, to me, that's not. You can give all the excuses you want, but you do not leave someone else's child anywhere if they're in your care.
And Christine, again, to Elmore's point of having to answer to their parents, what have, if anything, these friends or their parents said to you about what happened?
So, of course, the children have expressed their condolences, and, Nolan was my best friend. That's what I keep hearing. Nolan was my best friend, but the way Nolan was, he would have made sure, right? And with any of his friends across the board, whether you're black, white, pink, purple, Nolan would have made sure, hey man, let's go. Like, hey man, come on, let's, we're done for the day type of deal. And once again, like I've said it before, Nolan just had such a big heart. That was a concern we always had, is that his heart was just too big. Because sometimes, and we would tell him, that type of love that you give to others is not always reciprocated. But the parents, again, they've offered, and I need to correct myself because I think yesterday in one of the interviews, I think I said that maybe none of them, I want to say 2 or 3 of them have reached out. Just the first one expressing their condolences, another one just saying, hey, give me a call if and when you're ready type of deal. And then another one just, sorry for your loss, but hey, we need to talk type of thing. And you know what? it hasn't, are we at a week? My brain is mush. We're all over the place emotionally. This has been a difficult situation. I cannot express how hard this has been on not just us as parents, but also his siblings. They are struggling too, with the fact that they do not have their brother.
Wow. That was 5 minutes of the mom talking. She knows she did everything. She says so. She is now fighting for answers so that she may find peace in knowing she did everything possible to uncover the truth behind her son's death. Okay? She was talking to Victor Blackwell on Saturday. So he was left on this island, no shelter, no facilities, and no communication. His friends made it back home. A student and wide receiver at Southwest Mississippi Community College did not. His body was found by a National Park Service agent face down in the water off the shoreline Monday morning. Now, many questions remain unanswered. Why didn't he return on the boat with his friends? Why didn't he have his cell phone with him? Was Nolan involved in any altercation? Did he break off from his friends to speak with the girl on the island? While the Jackson County Sheriff's Department is still investigating Wells' death, has speculations and distrust in part due to Mississippi's racial history and fact that Wells appeared to be the only person of color in an image with friends on the trip, and in earlier comments from the chef saying He didn't suspect foul play, but didn't explain why. And then some people are saying this does not smell right. The Reverend Al Sharp said at a news conference Friday, some people are saying, Reverends, are y'all bringing in race? Well, we're not bringing in race, but we're not discounting race either because we don't know what it is. So to tell us don't rush to judgment saying it wasn't race is fine. But then I'm telling you, don't rush to judgment saying it was not racism because we do not know. Okay. So the Al Sharpton done got into this. But nothing about the case other than speculation about race is particularly unusual. CNN law enforcement analyst Charles Ramsey said it's quite common for law enforcement officers to take a week or longer to gather all the necessary evidence and interviews to determine what caused the death. Those days and weeks, however, can feel like eternity for a family desperate for answers. Here's what the investigation could entail. Key interviews. It's important to interview each of the friends Wells traveled with, anyone who was on the beach, and a girl he was talking to on the island. They've got to interview them one at a time, individuals, to make sure the story is consistent. Who previously led the Philadelphia and Washington, D.C. Police Department. Now, I'm going to say this, you guys, and then we're going to get off of here. But, it's going to take a lot of hard work to get to the bottom of this. So Ben Crump said he is dismayed by the lack of clear details that have emerged in the case. A young woman he was talking to says that Nolan said he was going back to get on the boat with the boys. The boys say that Nolan told them he was going to stay and talk to the young woman. It's a contradiction, Crump says. Question about Wells' phone. One of the stranger parts of the case involves Wells' cell phone. Crump has said it's bizarre for a teenager to not have his cell phone and noted that Wells' parents managed to find the phone before the police did. Wells' mother, Christina, tracked his phone using Life 360, according to Crump, a real-time GPS monitoring app developed to enhance family safety. His phone was allegedly found at one of the boys' house who owned the boat. Crump said in a virtual appearance during Sunday service at Georgia-based New Birth Missionary Baptist Church. See, that's where we're going, to New Birth Missionary Baptist Church. Sunday service. Okay. I'll probably look up that service so I can see what he said, you guys. Okay. Let me write it down. And I'll come back and tell y'all what they said. So that's the church me and Papa's going to go to on the 28th of August. And so he said on Sunday, so today is the 13th, so he said this on the 12th, July the 12th. So I'll look it up. The parents said location history data found on Pooh Bear. Go see if your mom's out there. The parents said location history data found on the phone left them with questions. They also expressed concerns that messages or images may have been deleted. After tracking down his keys in his phone, the family compared Wells' location history between the Life 360 and Snapchat apps, but the data didn't match, his parents told Good Morning America last week. CNN has reached out to the Jackson County Sheriff Department for more information.
There's also been speculation that Wells was in altercation shortly before he was reported missing. Wells' mother said her son was not a confrontational person and avoided bickering. Nolan was not someone who liked fights, physical fights. He really didn't even like arguments, Christina said. The 18-year-old boy was found in the water just off the shores of the northwestern end of Horn Island. Jackson County Coroner Bruce Lynn said the swimsuit he was wearing matched those that was in the photograph that he was last known to be wearing. Crumps, the family attorney, cast doubt on the notion that Wells may have drowned, saying the teen was a strong athlete and knew how to swim. But the barrier island off the Mississippi coast has a history of powerful currents and drowning deaths, the coroner said. The currents are strong out there, especially on that end of the island. There have been drownings out there in the barrier islands many times over the years. There were no immediate obvious signs of foul play or trauma on Wells' body, the coroner said, but due to the uncertain circumstances, we asked for an autopsy at the state medical examiner office so that they could do the full autopsy and be able to tell if there were any foul play or trauma. The findings from the autopsy includes Wells' cause and manner of death are not available as the medical examiner office is waiting for the results of a routine toxicology test, and those can take days or weeks. I've waited as long as 2-3 weeks for toxicology, Ramsey said. In the meantime, the family has launched its own investigation into what may have caused the teen's death. Parents send their son's body out of state for second autopsy. Crump said he believes if Wells had drowned, somebody would have seen him struggle or offered help. Though drowning can be fast, silent, and doesn't always look like one might expect, National Drowning Prevention Analysis says it is not adding up, and that's why the family, at their behest, we have an independent autopsy being performed. We had his body flown from Mississippi to Washington because his family wanted to make sure that they have a doctor who had no ties to Mississippi law enforcement to do an independent examination of their son's body. Those results are expected very soon, Crump said Saturday. There are all kinds of possibilities. Rumsey, who is black, said he understands why some Mississippi's might be concerned about whether race played a role in Wells' death or the investigation. He expressed deep condolences to the family for their immense tragedy. But so far, he said, there is nothing surprising about the timeline of this investigation and how it's proceeding. It's not unusual. What's unusual is the degree of media attention, he said. The only reason we're having this conversation is it happened in Mississippi. He's a black kid, and he went out there with friends who happen to be white. Regardless of the color of anyone's skin, your hope is that the people your children call friends will be there. So Christina Wansley Wells' mother told CNN on Saturday, unfortunately, there are just so many patterns here in America when you start to talk about the African community. We've seen this time and time again. Christina said she's seen the discourse surrounding her son's situation, along with the question some have posed. How can these black parents just allow their son to be the token black boy of the group? She said, wow. They done came after the mama. Oh! Nolan was friends with everybody. Nolan was a peacemaker. He wanted everybody to feel included. Christina said would have made sure his friends made it home. Nolan had such a big heart. That was a concern we always had, is that his heart was just too big, because sometimes that type of love that you give to others is not always reciprocated. There are numerous reasons why Wells was not with his friends at the end of the trip, Ramsey said, and the potential circumstances surrounding Wells' death aren't limited to foul play or accidental drowning. There are all kinds of possibilities, he said. You'll go nuts trying to speculate about every possible thing that might have happened. And the bottom line is, it takes evidence to really kind of reconstruct what took place. Even if Wells drowned, there's a variety of reasons why an individual can drown, Ramsey said. Much of the criticism, speculation, and anger on social media this week came after the local sheriff issued a statement saying no foul play was suspected. That may have been a poor choice of words that led to widespread misunderstanding, Ramsey said. It may have been more accurate to say there were no immediate obvious signs of foul play, similar to what the coroner said. But until the results of the autopsies are released. Huh? Okay. Bye. Bye. I love you.
I love you too.
You got all your stuff?
I don't even have stuff.
All right, baby. I see you tomorrow. Um, Anyone speculating or jumping to conclusions will be doing a disservice to the family, Ramsey said. A family's nightmare. Christina Brain is mush, she says, her emotions all over the place. I cannot express how hard this has been, not just us as parents, but also his siblings. Christina said they are struggling too with the fact that they do not have their brother. Wells was set to return to school to begin football training on the same day his body was found close to the shore. On Saturday, peaceful protesters gathered in Ocean Springs, Mississippi, where Wells graduated from high school, demanding a transparent investigation into his death. One resident, Jerome, whom Wells once worked for, renting out water slides and bouncy houses, spoke of his kindness and respectful nature. It says a lot about his parents, and it says a lot about him. Lowry told CNN the things that he did while he was here on earth. It left a statement and a place in a lot of people's heart. Life is precious, no matter what color you are, he said. Mm-hmm. Mm. That's crazy. Okay, you guys. Mm. Um. Mm. Anyway, something had popped up here, and I was in the middle of that, but I'm gonna dig more and see, because actually every day another part of this puzzle is coming together. So I'm just going to wait to see what else. Like I said, every day something comes up. Somebody says something. I just think that too many, my mother always told me something. Remember this. She said, If there's somebody else other than you that know, that's too many people. That's too many. So there's 3 boys. Trust me, some information's going to come out and we're going to get it. I'm going to read this story real quick because I was reading it on the sidelines. And a toddler was found in a pool and declared dead. He's alive and his parents could be charged. This was July the 7th. So in Phoenix, a toddler discovered in a backyard pool in the Phoenix suburb in February was declared dead before being found breathing hours later in a room that serves as the hospital morgue, according to recent released police records. 2 Gilbert police officers saw possible signs of life multiple times, but the child was still taken to the hospital cold room after being treated by staff, according to the document. Please do your thing and let me do my thing, Dr. Aon told an officer at one point, according to the report. I went to the medical school for a reason. First responders was dispatched to the home at about 5:30 p.m. on February the 8th in response to a reported drowning. They performed life-saving measures on the child before taking him to a hospital where the boy was pronounced dead about an hour later. About 5 hours later, police were notified that the child was indeed breathing and he was flown to another hospital. The boy ultimately survived and has been released. Boy survived, but his parents are under scrutiny. Gilbert police are recommending negligent charges against the parents. Investigators said there was a strong odor of marijuana at the home and open doors that could have allowed unsupervised access to the pool. The county attorney office said it was reviewing the case and declined further comment. In 911 calls, 2 relatives frantically reported that the child had been pulled from the pool as people at the scene could be heard screaming. One caller reported the toddler was unconscious. No one answered at the home where the near drowning occurred when an Associated Press photographer knocked there Monday. Mercy Medical Center, where the 18-month-old was taken, said in a statement that the hospital conducted a thorough review of all aspects of the care provided to learn what happened and to make meaningful changes to strengthen our care. The hospital called it a heartbreaking situation and declined to release further details. When a team from the local medical examiner officer arrived in the so-called cold room, they found the boy breathing and rushed him to another hospital, police said. Doctors, lawyers, says there's more to know. Scott Holden, an attorney for Tuesday, told the AP that he wouldn't make a full statement on behalf of the doctor, other than to assure you that there is much more to this case, both factual and medical, than has been reported thus far. A GoFundMe page, which was created in February to help the boy's family with medical bills, said the toddler would need extensive therapy. Hey Zena, how you doing? Thank you for your prayers, your kindness, and your support for baby Vincent, our miracle fighter, the page said. An ABC affiliated in Phoenix was the first to report the story. There has been other cases of people discovered alive after being declared dead in Southfield, Michigan. A 20-year-old with cerebral palsy was declared dead by a doctor over the phone in 2020. City paramedics had repronounced to a 911 at her family home. Later that day, a funeral home opened the body back and found her gasping for air. She was swiftly taken to a hospital but never recovered and died 2 months later. Southfield settled a negligence lawsuit filed by the family for $3.25 million. Oh, God. Mistaken death declares are rare, but do happen. Case in which someone is mistakenly declared dead and later found to be alive are rare, but they do happen, said Dr. Judy, a forensic pathologist in San Francisco who is now associated with a case. It tends to be much more common in elder people than in children or toddlers, she said. The criteria of death requires no heartbeat, no breathing, no brain activity, or neurological activity, Nick said. There were times when people were breathing very shallow or intermediate, so medical practitioners had to wait a few minutes before the declaration, she added. According to Malik, determines death depends on the doctor's skill and training, and policies may differ from hospital to hospital. It's either someone inexperienced got involved or a policy failure, she said, because people, once they're dead, they don't come back to life. That don't happen. So, anyway, we're getting off of here. We were done. I was just looking for some more information real quick. The timeline of Nolan's disappearance, death, and the unfolding investigation, and the days since the puzzling death of the 18-year-old. Investigation has undertaken a painstaking effort to reconstruct. I don't see anything extra, you guys. He enrolled in Southwest Mississippi Community College, where he was a wide receiver on their football team. Okay. On the evening, they all gone. Zena, you done came in here late. You saying hi to everybody. I was just reading. It was hugs, kiss, and he left Christina, his mom said. He joined his friends from a boat trip in the island, a federally protected barrier island known for its untouched beaches, shifting shorelines, and quiet isolation. It wasn't uncommon for Wells to visit the island with friends. He was supposed to return to school after the holiday weekend to start training for the upcoming football. In photos from the boat that day, the 18-year-old towered above his friends, his arms casually slung around his shoulders as they smiled for the camera. But by the time the group returned to the main island that afternoon, a day that began as a holiday celebration took an unsettling turn. Wells was not with them. His family reported him missing the night of July the 4th after they received a phone call around 11 p.m. from one of his friends. Okay, somebody did call. After 11 o'clock p.m., though. I mean, that's when they call. It's like, why did they wait so long to call? That's crazy. Why you gonna call me now? Let's see. But they did call after 11 o'clock. What followed was an intense search effort that would soon end tragic. Hope gives way to a widened search. At the first hour passed within answers, Wells' mother turned to social media, sharing desperate appeals for information about her son's whereabouts in the past of the July the 5th. So Christina said she and her husband had possession of their son's cell phone and that they traveled to the island to search for him. The wary mother posted photos the night, which she said were taken during July the 4th boat trip. The teen at 6'1" smiles for the camera in blue swim trunks and sunglasses. That day, the Jackson County Sheriff Department publicly announced they were coordinating with the United States Coast Guards and Mississippi Department of Marine Resources to search the island. Sheriff John would later tell the AP, from the people where we've talked to, it sounds like he chose to stay on the island with the assumption that he was going to ride back to the main island with someone. But his family later said they can't fathom why he would separate from his group of friends. If you go with a group, you stay with the group. Okay, so, hmm, the group vice president told CNN he spoke to several people who were at Horn Island on July the 4th and described the beach as being packed with boats and people, some of whom had been drinking alcohol. If someone had fallen into the water, Brian said strong rip currents that day may have posted a risk. Hmm. Okay. So anyway, you guys, I'm gonna get off of here. Wow. I guess it's just all of it saying the same thing over and over and over and over again. Many have looked at the photos of Wells where he appears to be the only, man in the group picture and sense danger. I don't know. I mean, others have taken to social media to post about their own experience of being the only person of color in predominated white spaces and challenges that can bring. The Wells family retained civil rights attorney Ben Crump on July the 7th to represent them as the investigation into the death. Crump said he has not spoken to the young men who were traveling with Wells because they have obtained legal representation. Yeah. Oh my God. It's crazy. You know, at a news conference on July the 10th, Christina, I seen, let me say this, you guys, if you have not seen or you want to hear from her, there's a channel. It's called Don Lemon. He used to be on CNN. That's the same Don Lemon, DL, and he's covering it, and you get to see um, the mom and Ben Crump and the dad all on his channel, and kind of really, to uh, they ask their questions, and you know I'm I'm gonna be honest with you. I am really surprised that, let me see, 7 hours ago. I just read 2 hours ago, but let me just see. Nolan Wells case update and autopsy video and timeline. I didn't get nothing out of it. Nolan Wells search and death investigation timeline, 2 days. What we know about the death of Nolan Wells, black teenager who went missing. Anyway, there's just really nothing else. 2 days ago, 3 days ago, 6 days ago. Um, it's a lot. This is the last one I'm going to read. This is because this is a different source. The investigation has unfolded rapidly since Nolan Wells disappears on the 4th of July. Okay. He was visiting with high school friends. While those friends returned to the mainland, Wells' body was found days later in the water. His phone had deleted. Okay, so this is what some of the people are saying. His phone had deleted pictures of the day. Okay. How do they know his phone had deleted pictures of the day? D. Jones' phone was in the boat. They came and got it. They didn't hide it. They got it once. Friend called. Oh, she said D. Jordan phone was in the boat. They said Jordan. Why they call the man Jordan? They came and got it. They didn't hide it. They got it once friends called them, asking if they seen it. They were accused right away. Death threats. What if drowned body didn't wash up? Exactly, you need an attorney when you are accused. That's how it works. He wasn't in a fight on the island. That's BS. He wasn't at party that night. BS. If Nolan was my son, I would want answers. Doesn't have anything to do with color. We have to stop seeing only color. Lori, deaf again, the phone. This family didn't get a lawyer until the kids that Nolan was with lawyered up and claimed to not know where he was or what happened to him. That would have been very suspicious to me, as well as a parent. What are you getting a lawyer for? What happened? I pray that they find out what happened to Nolan. Tangy Jones. So she's talking to this person. Always lawyer up. A babysat for a state trooper back when I was a teen, and he told me if I was ever arrested to not say anything without a lawyer, even if I didn't do it. Okay. Okay, so you guys, I think that's it. I don't see. Oh, wow. I don't see anything else that is alarming. Okay, you guys, I'm gonna get off of here. I will be back on later. Not tonight, but maybe tomorrow. I'll see you guys. All right.